Hello, my name is Byron Janis. I became interested in Pro Musicis because it represents an utterly unique concept, totally different from any other musical organization I know. It allows young musicians to perform not only in concert halls in major cities throughout the world, but also for people in prisons, hospitals, drug rehabilitation centers, homes for the elderly. This beautiful idea was a dream of a Capuchin Franciscan priest, Father Eugene Merlet, who founded Pro Musicis, which means in Latin, for musicians. It was started in France in 1965. He felt that music had to be shared with the widest possible audience, with people who would never have the chance to hear live music like this. The reward to the musician becomes so much more than just financial gain. He uses his art to play an important social role as well by bringing beauty to those less fortunate. This double role, performing in concert halls and in institutions, is what Pro Musicis is really all about. And I can tell you, having played at some of these facilities myself, the benefits are not only for the listeners. I have come away so deeply rewarded with what the gift of music can do. For me, there is nothing quite like it. This forbidding building in Lower Manhattan is known as the Tombs. It is where prisoners are detained, sometimes for many, many months, while they wait to go on trial. It was here, 20 years ago, that Father Merlet brought his dream, Pro Musicis, to America.
Well, thank you very much. It's a big anniversary for us because we started in this country in 1971, and this place is the very first place where we gave our very first concert as well. The mission I have in life, because also I'm a musician, is to help the very high talented concert soloists of the young generation, the very top, and then also to bring their kind of talent, which is the best, to people like you, because what an artist does is to produce beauty. So this is why we are here, to share it together.
Clarinetist Esther Lamnick has been booked by Pro Musicis as a soloist for several of America's leading orchestras and has performed throughout the United States, Europe, and South America. This is not her first experience performing in a prison.
Well, playing in prison is certainly an experience one will never forget. You feel that you have a captive audience and you have a tremendous responsibility to bring something different, something great, something that they would have heard on the concert stage into the prison. I find it in some cases very rewarding, and maybe even more rewarding than playing on the concert stage, to play for the prisoners, because if I can bring something to them that they cannot understand or haven't understood before, and then they can respond to it in a personal, warm way, and I see that I've reached them and communicated something with them, I'm tremendously rewarded.
What is your let us say, comments on music and the impact that it has on people.
Then you can probably answer the question for us about what impact music has on an audience, because I think you all have demonstrated very clearly that you were impressed and you were, we somehow were able, both of us, to communicate with you all in a way. And I think for me, music is my means of communicating with other human beings in a spiritual way. That's my reason for playing.
I just think you blow that very well.
Thank you.
I believe that we who are given gifts, we're born with gifts, as I was, the gift of music. We all have gifts, each one of us. Having, in a way, to share that gift, not only as a money-making affair, but as something to give back to society. It gives the artist a great pleasure, and hopefully it gives you pleasure, because we're giving to you something that was given to us. And that's, I think, what it's about, and that's what I think life is about. And so I think if we all did this, it'd be a better world. I wondered if these men might be experiencing, in their own way, something of what Chopin meant when he said, "I write beautiful music to cover all of the ugliness in the world." This is St. Joseph's in Brooklyn, what New York City calls an SRO, for single-room occupancy. It's a shelter for elderly homeless people. Music is so extraordinary because it can really help people transcend all their infirmities, their problems, their difficulties. That is its great healing quality. And in what better place than a place like this should live music be heard? Father Merlet has said, "Artistic inspiration is the purest gift ever offered by God to humanity."
So this is Elizabeth Wolf. Elizabeth, come on.
Pianist Elizabeth Wolf, another Pro Musicis artist, has appeared in cities throughout the United States and Europe. For her performance at St. Joseph's, she has chosen a sonata by Beethoven.
My student makes T-shirts, and this is Beethoven, so I wanted you all to see what he looks like. I think I might leave that there. It gives me luck.
In the same year that Beethoven, aged 32, wrote this sonata, he poured out his thoughts about his increasing deafness in what became known as the Heiligenstadt Testament. And I quote, "For the last 6 years, I have been inflicted by an incurable complaint, which has been made worse by incompetent doctors. From year to year, my hopes of being cured have gradually been shattered, and finally, I have been forced to accept the prospect of a permanent infirmity. I was soon obliged to seclude myself and live in solitude. How humiliated I have felt if someone standing beside me heard the sound of a flute in the distance and I heard nothing. Such experiences almost made me despair, and I was at a point of putting an end to my life. The only thing that held me back was my art. What a miracle that Beethoven could rise above this terrible infirmity which besieged him, and could write such music of extraordinary beauty and joy and hope. That miracle is available to all of us in our own way.
So, I mean, these kind of benefits, you don't get at Alice Tully Hall with a $20, $30 penny loafer button-down shirt ticket. The essence of music literally is communication on a universal level, and that's its beauty, and this is where it is.
A Catholic priest named Father Drumgoole founded Mount Loretto as a home for homeless newsboys in 1870. Now, this sprawling campus on Staten Island houses over 700 young people with social and emotional problems. The motto at Mount Loretto is giving youth a fresh start.
I mean, I don't really understand it, but I think once you listen, music itself is universal, whether you understand it or not. You know, it's a universal phrase that everybody understands. Music might not actually mean something itself, but when you just let it listen, it can soothe you, you know. It can calm your nerves, it can make you, you know, whatever form you feel that the music is setting your pace at. That's how I feel. And I thought it was great because usually people have to go to the Carnegie Hall to hear their stuff or pay a lot of money and whatnot. And we're getting this for free, and I thought it was kind of great because this is like once in a lifetime. I mean, who knows, when we get our kids, we could probably tell them, hey, I remember when I was a little kid, I heard classical music. I never really understood it, but I appreciate it for what it's worth. And I took it in as a sense of value. So I know when I go down the line, when I hear it, I'll be able to say, oh, didn't I hear that before? You know, a Mozart or what have you, you know. So I thought it was kind of great.
Beth Abram Hospital in the Bronx has a unique program that provides daycare for disabled adults. People like these can rarely, if ever, get out to concerts and other public performances. They have radio and recordings and television, but the interaction that occurs at a live performance between a performer and his audience cannot be replaced. How grateful they must be that someone has come to them. Peter Ungen, one of Pro Musicis' better-known performers, has firmly established himself as a major violinist. He is the first violinist of the Tokyo String Quartet and also maintains a solo career throughout the world. He frequently performs for Pro Musicis audiences.
For me, playing a concert in this kind of a situation is so important because it changes one's values towards what is important in playing music and playing a concert for people. As a student, you're brought up to think that if you play wrong notes, that's a terrible thing, and you have to improve your technique all the time. And of course, those things are very important. But it's very difficult to learn how to communicate with others. And generally speaking, people are intimidated when they appear in front of an audience. That seems to be natural for most human beings, at least. So playing for people who don't actually know that much about music, and yet who you know really are dying to hear some music because they don't have the chance to hear either a concert or go and see any kind of event because they're confined for one reason or another. It really makes you feel it doesn't matter when I make a mistake. I'm always expressing something for them and they're enjoying that. You find that when you start playing, they fidget for a few seconds, and then there can be a sort of transformation, and their faces change, and they take on an expression which is very similar to that which one is expressing in the music. This doesn't even happen very often in major concert halls. Audiences there tend to be so accustomed to listening to music that it's much more difficult to transport them, although it can be done if you believe in it enough.
I danced with Ben Vereen.
You danced with Ben Vereen?
Yes, sir.
Well, you wouldn't want to dance with me then, would you?
Yes, I love to dance all the time. They know that I love to dance.
Wow.
Oh, because I'm full of music.
That's
I'm
terrific.
95 years old.
95.
1895.
Phoenix House in Queens was created for people whose lives have been disrupted by drug abuse. Here, past failures do not count. I just want to tell you about overcoming adversity. You're looking at someone who at 10 years old put his hand through a glass door, fighting with my sister, pulled it out, was rushed to the hospital. My whole finger was slashed, this finger. They operated on this finger. I could not bend this joint. I still can't. And the nerve was affected. I can't, so it's numb, totally numb. This finger has no feeling whatsoever. And at age 10, people said, well, this boy's finished. He was a great talent, but for a pianist to have this finger dead is, you're really in trouble. I could have drunk, I could have done that, I could have taken drugs, I could have done anything. We didn't have drugs in those days, like you do. I could have done it, but I didn't because I thought, no, believe, you're gonna overcome it. You're gonna do it. And I did. Then I got arthritis in both hands. All my look, that's my fist. That doesn't go down. None of these joints bends. None of them. Not one. This was 14, 15 years ago. Doctor said, you know, look, you got to accept it. And I said, no, why should I accept it? I can play. And I'm still playing. I do play. I had a period 2 years ago when my life seemed absolutely over. It hit me very badly. I couldn't play it off. I was so depressed, I just didn't want to live. And here I am, playing again, doing all kinds of things. And that's the story, but I wanted you to know that. They listened so well. I mean, it was just playing a nocturne under the best of circumstances and this kind of heat. Carnegie Hall, I don't think would have listened as well. They were listening absolutely openly, with no prejudice, with not how did so-and-so play it, which sometimes people in Carnegie Hall do. Not comparing, just really listening to is there a message here? Does this man communicate? Do I feel something? So that's why I like to play places like this. The Tombs the other day, Phoenix House. I think we have a duty, all of us, to give some of our God-given gifts back to the people. We're all part of each other. Pro Musicis makes it possible for all of us, no matter what the circumstances, to share in the feeling that only music can convey, a feeling that brings us all together in beauty and spirit. And that is Father Merle's dream, to spread the spirit of music to everyone.
thank you to all of you, because really,
Thank
you know what it is to have a dream. It's fine, but to see it happen, you know, it's just beyond belief. So thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you, Byron.